Boxing's top pros weigh in, and their predictions for Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez are nothing short of explosive. Veteran analyst Teddy Atlas weighed in with his perspective, presenting a viewpoint that contrasts with many others. While most consider the matchup a stylistic showcase, Atlas highlighted the unpredictability surrounding it. He confessed he's not fully certain it will turn into a non-stop action spectacle, yet stressed that it will feature two exceptionally talented fighters in what he calls a sweet science duel, a clash dictated by skill, tactics, and pinpoint execution.
Great fight? I don't know if it will. I mean, style-wise, I could see you having a little reservations, you know, whether or not these guys will make for dynamite, they will make, you know, for electricity. I don't know if they will, but I'll tell you what they will make for. Two skillful fighters, two talented fighters, you know, two fighters that are at a high skill level that will compete in the sweet science.
Highlighting the key strengths of both fighters, Teddy Atlas pointed to Shakur Stevenson's recent bout with William Zepeda as a standout demonstration of his elite skill and style. He observed that Stevenson combined sharper aggression with his trademark boxing intelligence, indicating he could use a similar strategy against Teofimo Lopez. On Lopez's side, Atlas emphasized his raw power, creating a true battle of contrasting approaches. In his opinion, both fighters possess exceptional talent and visually striking techniques, making this a matchup that could shift in either direction at any moment.
Performance, Shakur showing that dimension, showing that attitude, showing that competitiveness, showing that dog like people like to show or like to talk about, and they wanted to see in Shakur. Well, they saw it. Teofimo showed you that he can fight inside, he can fight outside. He would have the advantage of power in this fight. You know one thing that I love about this fight, Bud? Shakur's very athletic, very talented. So is Teofimo. He's more explosive with power, but Teofimo is very athletic. He is very talented. You got two athletic guys, two talented guys. Again, Teofimo I would favor with the power.
Joining the discussion on Shakur Stevenson, Sean Porter shared his initial take on a potential clash with Teofimo Lopez. Porter admits that Lopez can appear dominant at his peak, but he also highlights obvious flaws in his game. Stevenson, by contrast, is seen as almost flawless inside the ring. While some have criticized his measured approach, Porter rejects that view, emphasizing that anyone stepping into the ring with Stevenson must be ready to handle everything he delivers. It highlights just how precise, formidable, and calculated Stevenson has become.
I gotta get your opinion on that one.
It's just it's so hard, man. On Teo's best day, he's kind of unstoppable. I don't know if it's that he gets in his own way. I don't know if it's that he doesn't adjust well. I'm really not sure what it is, but we've seen flaws in his game. We haven't seen any flaws in Shakur's game. Everyone would say his offense is his flaw because he's not offensive enough and stuff like that. Just get out of here. The kid's beautiful. When he gets in the ring, beautiful. When he gets out of the ring, that smile don't change at all, you know? And, so that being said, man, I think with Shakur, you got to be able to rough him up. You got to be able to get out of the way of what's coming after you rough him up.
Porter also acknowledges Teofimo Lopez's sheer explosiveness, pointing out that his speed and unpredictable tactics make him a constant threat. Despite that, Porter gives a slight edge to Stevenson in his early assessment, leaning toward him with a narrow advantage. With excitement building for their clash, Porter's 60-40 prediction in Stevenson's favor adds even more hype and heightens anticipation for what has quickly become one of the most highly awaited matchups in recent memory.
And one thing that I really like about Teo is his explosiveness. You know, he has the ability to just be on top of you and be unpredictable. If he's using that, it's gonna be a great fight. But at the moment, I would say 60-40 for Shakur.
Okay.
Even Tim Bradley issued a cautionary note about Shakur Stevenson in a recent interview. He stressed that the fight won't be simple, pointing to Lopez's distinct style, especially his unpredictability and self-reliance in the ring, as a significant challenge that could pose real difficulties for Stevenson when they meet.
The real. It's not gonna be an easy damn fight for Shakur Stevenson. Nope, it ain't gonna be an easy fight. Nope. After studying freaking Lopez yesterday, man, look. That athleticism that he got, that speed that he got, the boy is a what's the name I'm looking for? What can I say? He's autonomous. That's the word I'm looking for. He's an autonomous fighter. Okay? What does that mean, autonomous fighter, Tim? Shakur is too. Just like Floyd is. Just like Crawford is. Just like Inoue is.
Tim believes that all fighters eventually reach a point where their skills become instinctive, no longer needing outside direction. He views Teofimo Lopez as exactly that type, someone whose movements are guided by natural instinct and precise technique. Bradley further stressed that Stevenson will need to remain extremely sharp, facing an opponent as smooth, technically gifted, and highly capable as Lopez.
Young fighters want to get to that point in their career where they become autonomous fighters. Okay? Where you don't need no damn instructions. You don't need no guidance. You know how to figure it out. Your fundamentals are so damn sound that, shoot, you got skills now built on top of those fundamentals. Now it's second nature for you. You know what I'm saying? You didn't see the same patterns and rhythms and styles and so on and so forth that it's second nature. It's nothing for you. These guys can operate without any damn instructions, without being told what to do. That's how great these dudes are. Or I should say good they are. They still got to prove they great.
Fueling the pre-fight buzz, Conor Benn revealed his prediction for the Stevenson versus Lopez clash. While giving credit to both fighters, Benn edged slightly toward Lopez, suggesting he views the fight as anything but clear-cut. His take adds another angle to the ongoing conversation, underlining just how unpredictable this matchup is and why fans and fighters alike are eagerly waiting to see who will emerge victorious.
I'm back in Teo. I think he's in a hard fight. Well, he's not in a taxing fight. He's in a complex fight in terms of boxing fight. He's not in a war. I won't get into it anymore.
Playing devil's advocate, obviously, as a journalist as well, you look at pound-for-pound rankings and Shakur is a lot higher. I know you don't like Shakur, but do you not have respect for what he could do against Teofimo Lopez? Because you've dismissed him there, Conor.
No, I don't not like Shakur. I like Shakur. I'm just insulted he thinks he can come up to my weight and feel like he can just make it easy work. Well, come up to my weight then. I don't not like him. I think he's a funny guy. I think he's funny looking as well.
Lamont Roach offered his prediction for the upcoming Stevenson versus Lopez showdown on the Ring Champs podcast, clearly favoring Stevenson as the probable victor. He pointed out that Stevenson's high ring IQ and strategic approach could present significant challenges that Lopez may struggle to overcome.
He a little cuckoo too, like he has like a little mental lapses every once in a while. Look at the Kambosos fight. Like, that's a fight that people would never expect Kambosos to win, and he won a grueling match against him as well. So I just, I don't know. I don't think he can get it done against Shakur when it comes to like, because it's going to be just a skill match. I don't think he's going to try to, or he's going to try to rough Shakur off, and it's probably not going to work.
When discussing Lopez's abilities, his speed, agility, and ring smarts, Roach recognized their impact, but noted that Lopez has displayed weaknesses when facing true technicians. He suggested that Stevenson's style could exploit those gaps, giving him the upper hand in the fight.
He a little cuckoo too, like he has like a little mental lapses every once in a while.
So who do you think wins that fight between him and Teofimo Lopez if they fight?
I think Shakur wins. And I don't think it's going to be like a super tough fight either. His IQ will frustrate him.
Don't you think Teo has also good ring IQ and also is slick, fast?
I think explosive? So, but when you look at Teo's performances against guys that are just pure boxers, it's just like he almost lost to Sandor Martin. Some people thought he lost to Sandor Martin.
He did beat Loma, who's arguably at the time considered one of the best in the world.
He did, and that was a performance too. So yeah, I mean, I think he's hit or miss. You got to think he got stuff. He a little cuckoo too. Like he has like a little mental lapses every once in a while.
Showbiz the Adult has also issued a warning to Teofimo Lopez, urging him to be cautious with his approach against Shakur Stevenson. He believes Lopez may struggle to carry out his game plan against one of the most technically skilled fighters of this generation. Showbiz emphasizes that Stevenson is stepping into the fight fully prepared and ready to capitalize on any mistakes if Lopez underestimates the challenge.
Because if he's trying to push the fight, if he's trying to make sure it's exciting too, it can be, because Teo's going to push it to make it exciting. which allows for Shakur to pick him apart.
From a stylistic perspective, this bout is shaping up as one of the most refined matchups of this era. Examining it closely, both fighters showcase multiple layers of skill and ring intelligence. While Teofimo claims he has nothing to lose, in reality, he might be taking on more risk than Stevenson. At 140 pounds, Stevenson appears completely at ease, seemingly built for the weight, whereas Teofimo doesn't have the same physical presence, a factor that could prove decisive when they finally meet in the ring.
I mean, Teo does have a lot to lose. He's literally got belts to lose. It's more that Shakur doesn't really have a lot to lose because he's moving up in weight, because he isn't putting a title up here. He doesn't have much to lose. Teo has everything to lose here, belts-wise, and a guy coming up in his weight class. Although when you look at the two of them, and I was going to say this earlier, you can definitely see that Shakur is going to be just fine at 140. I've said Teo is a smaller 140 compared to other guys that have fought at that weight class. Shakur will probably be bigger than Teo. Maybe not muscle density-wise, but height, reach, all that, Shakur is going to be.
Analyst Wade Plemons offered a cautionary perspective on Shakur Stevenson, raising questions about how well he will adapt to the higher weight class. He suggests that predicting how Stevenson's speed, timing, and overall precision will carry up isn't straightforward. Plemons points out that moving up in weight naturally impacts a fighter's power and rhythm, meaning Stevenson must demonstrate he can remain just as effective against a bigger, stronger opponent. This uncertainty adds extra intrigue, fueling debates about whether his elite skills will translate seamlessly or face real challenges.
But I want to point it out. Shakur is moving up to 140. I keep looking at his hands, and I know this is a bit of a tired, played out discussion, but as the weight gets higher, I wonder if it impacts, because of the way guys can take punches at a higher weight, how will Shakur's hands hold up at 140? Genuinely, I asked that question because it feels like that's been the only thing that's really set him back, outside of, maybe being more defensively aware and less offensive at times. I do wonder, how is it going to look if Shakur's hands can't handle it at 40, right? That's one of the things I worry about, because, again, the way the guys take punches, bigger dudes. Again, Teo's not the biggest guy at 140. It's just something to keep an eye on. It's an issue that's been persistent with Shakur.
Adding to the pre-fight hype, Gary Antoine Russell offered his candid opinion on the Stevenson versus Lopez showdown. He believes that if Lopez brings the same performance he showed against Lomachenko, he could genuinely challenge Stevenson, sparking even more debate among fans already divided over the outcome. With perspectives like Russell favoring Teofimo, the excitement surrounding this fight continues to build, cementing it as one of the most anticipated matchups in recent years.
It's 50-50. In order for you to participate in this sport, you gotta have a high level of confidence. I feel like both of them has a high level of confidence. Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson, but styles make fights. Naturally, I think Teofimo Lopez is stronger than Shakur. Naturally, I think he has more athleticism than Shakur, and he got a good IQ on the sport itself. But Shakur, I feel like he's a more smarter fighter. He's a more technical fighter. I'm not saying that he's a square or he's just a textbook fighter, but he's seasoned, he's poised. I feel like mentally he's more mature. Like, he don't go outside of the boundaries on taking risks.
Gary highlighted Teofimo Lopez, portraying him as a naturally gifted and powerful fighter whose dedication and hard work give him a tangible edge inside the ring. While he sees the bout as roughly even, Gary leans slightly toward Lopez, especially if he brings the same intensity and determination he displayed against Lomachenko. He stressed that Lopez's mix of talent and mindset makes him a real threat to Shakur Stevenson, capable of testing even the most technically skilled opponents.
Everybody was criticizing him. Oh, he's a born fighter. He's a careful fighter. And I feel like with Teofimo Lopez, he's going to be a careful fighter. Just because he's a careful fighter doesn't mean that he isn't punctual with how he do things. I think Shakur, he got a lot of this arsenal that he can use to make him be victorious, as well as Teofimo Lopez. You know what I mean? So it's a 50-50 fight, and it depends on what fighters show up the night of the fight. Right. But if I had to give you my whole honest truth, if Teofimo Lopez show up and is ready to fight just like how he fought Lomachenko, he'll win.
Regis Prograis offered a bold prediction for the Stevenson versus Lopez fight, firmly siding with Stevenson and sparking reactions among fans. He pointed out what he sees as vulnerabilities in Teofimo's style, leaving no doubt about where he stands. Prograis went on to suggest that Stevenson could achieve a decisive win, potentially in eye-catching fashion, emphasizing that throughout his career, Stevenson has yet to show any major weaknesses in his game.
Do you think that fight plays out?
I got Shakur. Just a better boxer. Shakur's, I suppose Shakur, really good boxer, and Teo has trouble with boxers. You know, now the thing about Teo, like sometimes Teo does show up. You know, for big fights, Teo shows up. For the small ones, it's like sometimes he doesn't really show up. But Shakur kind of shows up almost all the time. So, and then Shakur is just a good boxer, good IQ. I think that Shakur should beat Teo. If Teo beats him, I'm not gonna lie, if Teo beats Shakur, it'll be a shock to me. It'll be a surprise. But I would think right now, I would say Shakur. For sure, Shakur.
Looking ahead to the MSG showdown, boxing icon Roy Jones Jr. shared his expert insight on the Lopez versus Stevenson clash. He cautioned that Lopez can't afford to hold back if he hopes to win. Playing it safe and keeping his distance would allow Stevenson's elite footwork and defense to dominate him. Jones Jr. emphasized that Lopez must take calculated risks, stay aggressive, and force Stevenson out of his comfort zone, a strategy that could transform this matchup into an explosive, must-see fight.
Stylistically, man, how does Shakur beat Teo and vice versa? Stylistically, how does Teo beat Shakur?
Stylistically, Teo got to go in and go for broke. He got to go gamble. He got to take some, get some, and that's his only way to win. If he stays outside of boxes, Shakur gonna pick him apart. Shakur's a polished boxer with some of the best feet in the game right now, and he's a defensive-minded fighter, which is very smart. It's hard to hit him. He makes you gamble to hit him, and he's gonna be a tough one to deal with. But if Teofimo is willing to gamble to beat him, then Teofimo can definitely make it a really good fight.
Meanwhile, boxing superstar Claressa Shields issued a strong warning to Teofimo Lopez ahead of his fight with Shakur Stevenson. Shields analyzed the matchup, pointing out the dangers Lopez faces and why he cannot underestimate Stevenson's speed, skill, and ring intelligence. She stressed that a single misstep could result in a knockout, and offered her expert advice on how Lopez must adapt his strategy to compete effectively and stay in the fight against Stevenson.
My thoughts is that's going to be a very competitive fight. I think that Teo is very athletic. He's very experienced, but Shakur is the man. Shakur is hard to beat. He's skilled. Shakur is skilled. Shakur, man, the dude got power. He can fight any style. He's a thinker. He's 5 steps ahead of you. Whatever you think you're going to do, Shakur 5 steps ahead of you. So I look forward to seeing this fight. I think it's going to be good, but I feel like Shakur is going to come out on top. He's going to win. And hopefully Teo don't have his hands down and he get caught slipping, because Shakur has been showing some power.
Focusing on Shakur Stevenson's confidence, Claressa Shields believes he possesses all the tools to knock out Teofimo Lopez. Having watched him closely, she's seen just how much Stevenson has grown as a fighter. Shields feels Stevenson blends the charisma and skill of a Marvin Hagler with the ability to corner and trap Lopez in ways he may never have anticipated.
If you want to say like a Pernell Whitaker versus Sugar Ray winner type of deal, like that's how I look at like, yeah, both athletic, both sharp, both really good on their defense, both just very explosive. Like it's one of them fights. Like you talking about Marvin Hagler, he used to come and get you. Like Shakur can do that. Now you don't know what he's gonna do for this fight. You don't know, but I know he's gonna do whatever he gotta do to win.
Who's the elite fighter out of all of them? Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez, Shakur Stevenson. Obviously, you pick Shakur for Teo, but who's the best of the best? Tank. Who do you feel is the king, the emperor of all the kings?
Shakur.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm being honest with you. Like I've been knowing Shakur since he was like 15. We went to the Olympics together, and just to see how he. You know what I'm saying? Like, he has gotten so much better.
As debate intensifies over how this fight will play out, Jermaine Ortiz delivers a surprising forecast. He expects lots of action, but predicts it will feature more movement than typical. Having gone up against Teofimo Lopez before, Ortiz thinks Lopez will stay mobile and appear cautious, almost as if he's holding back. While he anticipates plenty of excitement, Ortiz doesn't see it reaching an extreme level. It likely won't be as explosive as many fans expect.
I don't think it will be a very close fight. I don't think there'll be a lot of action, you know, but how I see it is Shakur will move in the beginning, you know, he's going to stick at 1-2, the jab, and Teofimo, he's just going to try to, like, he moves a lot, does a lot of, like, play movements with his hands without really doing a lot of action. So he's gonna make it seem like he's trying to do something without really doing anything. And that's it. I don't see too much going on, but I do see a lot of like movement without fighting.
Looking back on it all, Jermaine Ortiz shares that he was originally offered a bout with Shakur Stevenson at 135, but ultimately fought Teofimo Lopez at 140. While the difference in weight could play a role, Ortiz believes Shakur possesses the skill, talent, and drive to secure the victory, and he is confident Stevenson will emerge on top.
There was an opportunity, like I've mentioned, I told Shakur this. I don't know if he knew. He said he didn't know about it, but I had a contract to fight him at 135 when I was with Top Rank. You know, it was like, you know, win this fight, and then after we'll give you Shakur. So I already had that. This was a couple years ago when I was with Top Rank. But then I ended up just going up to 40 and getting the Teofimo fight. But I think Shakur would win.
Determined to make a statement, Wally Moses believes Teofimo Lopez will be silenced on fight night. He stresses that Lopez is up against a fighter whose record and achievements speak for themselves, someone who doesn't waste time with empty talk. With an undefeated 24-0 record, Shakur Stevenson poses a serious threat, and that's exactly what his grandfather emphasizes. In Moses' view, Lopez must never underestimate Stevenson because he doesn't just talk, he delivers in the ring, defeating every opponent he faces, which is the ultimate goal.
Okay. I don't have to bank his success on beating everybody in the world. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like he talks the talk. All of a sudden, I'm that guy. You had your chance to be that guy, and the fucking amateurs coming up. You know what I'm saying? If you that guy, you would still be that guy. They just mad because they was never that guy. We can't help that.
Bruce Carrington shares a similar viewpoint. In a recent interview, he highlighted what he considers a key issue for Teofimo Lopez heading into the fight with Shakur Stevenson. Carrington believes Stevenson holds the upper hand and will pose multiple challenges for Lopez. Examining Lopez's style, he observed that Teofimo often becomes frustrated, with past fights revealing moments of vulnerability, weaknesses Stevenson can take advantage of. From a ring IQ and strategic standpoint, Carrington sees Stevenson as significantly more developed and capable than Lopez.
I think Shakur has the advantage because, granted, Teo, he is known as a guy that shows up with the big fights. I think naturally, athletically, he's more talented than Shakur. But when it comes to the IQ in the boxing style, that's where Teo has a problem. Because Teo has fought guys like Jermaine Ortiz and Sandor Martin and shown like real big, lapses in his game, I feel like he can get frustrated. It got to a point to where Teo was out loud said like, "Do I still got it?"
Bruce pointed out moments in Teofimo Lopez's fights where his frustration is clear. He noted that at certain points, Lopez struggles and openly shows his irritation, a major red flag for his upcoming clash with Shakur Stevenson, who has superior athleticism and overall skill. Bruce believes Stevenson is firmly in control, and for Lopez to stay competitive, he would need to follow the same game plan he used against Lomachenko. Even if Lopez manages that, Bruce still doesn't see him emerging victorious.
He had to say it out loud, and that concerns me. Especially with a guy like Shakur Stevenson, where it's difficult to hit him, let alone he can move on his feet and shoulder roll and pick his shots and slow your pace down, all different type of things. Like, I feel like if Teo can be razor sharp focused as he was against Lomachenko, and if he brings that fight to Shakur Stevenson, I feel that it'll be a tougher fight for sure for Shakur. Not that Teo would win, but it would definitely be a tougher fight. But I still see Shakur winning the fight.
On the flip side, Rolly Romero has issued a warning about Shakur Stevenson. In a recent interview, he claimed that Teofimo Lopez possesses everything needed to defeat Stevenson without doubt. Romero argues that in terms of skill, Lopez is the more accomplished fighter, citing his bouts with Lomachenko and Josh Taylor as proof of his ring intelligence and explosive ability. He stressed that Stevenson faces a genuine threat and that Lopez will hold the upper hand when they meet in the ring.
Whenever Teofimo fights the best fighter in the world, Teofimo's the best fighter in the world, but we shall see what happens.
Absolutely.
I think it's a great matchup. for both fighters, I think it's a great matchup and a great fight for boxing.
You think Teofimo has enough tools in his arsenal to be able to take Shakur out?
Isn't Teofimo the more accomplished fighter?
Yeah, absolutely. No, you're right. But what I'm trying to say is,
Lomachenko. I'm not picking who and who. I'm just saying, like, how much tools dude, he had enough tools to beat Lomachenko. He had enough tools to beat another undisputed, Josh Taylor. So, I mean, what's the question here?
Adding further perspective to the Teofimo Lopez versus Shakur Stevenson clash, acclaimed trainer Abel Sanchez offered a bold prediction for the bout. He believes Lopez must start aggressively and take the fight to Stevenson, cautioning that anything less could make the matchup dull and uneventful. At the same time, Sanchez emphasized that Stevenson will need to keep his distance and remain vigilant, as Lopez is a powerful fighter who can change the fight in an instant. According to Sanchez, this balance is what could make the bout truly electrifying.
Shakur's a great talent, and Teofimo looked great in his last fight. Of course, he didn't have Shakur in front of him, but I think that for Shakur, he has to keep the fight at his distance. If he does that, I think it's a win for him. Teofimo, he's more, he wants to draw you in, he wants to counterpunch. He's going to have to be a different guy this time. He's going to have to attack. He's going to have to be leading the fight, or else it's going to be a boring fight. I don't think it'll be a boring fight, but if he sits back and waits for Shakur's going to wait for him, then it's not going to be exciting. But I think Teofimo will attack. I think Teofimo has to attack. I think Teofimo has to do what Zepeda did, except for Teofimo's a lot more talented than Zepeda was.
Sanchez also noted that while he expects the fight to be exciting, with fans on the edge of their seats each round, he believes it could ultimately result in a draw. Despite Lopez's power and Stevenson's technical precision, Sanchez feels the fighters are so evenly matched that neither may completely dominate, making a split or shared decision a real possibility. This outlook adds yet another layer of intrigue to an already highly anticipated showdown.
So I think that, I honestly, I see a draw. I don't know why I see a draw, but I just see them both having great rounds and giving us the kind of fight that I think the public is looking for.
Meanwhile, Paulie Malignaggi offered his take on the fight, noting that while Shakur Stevenson may appear to have the advantage on paper, Teofimo Lopez still poses a significant threat. Malignaggi explained that whenever Lopez is underestimated or written off, he tends to elevate his performance and produce remarkable results, often catching fans and opponents by surprise. This makes Stevenson's challenge even tougher, as he cannot afford to take Lopez lightly at any point during the bout.
There's a replay there. You want to give Shakur the edge, and I do, but Teo is not something to play with, because when he's got his back to the wall, he becomes the most difficult guy to deal with, you know? And he's got his best performances when people count him out. And then when people feel like he's going to win easily, he's got his worst performances. So this is one of those times where Teo could make it really, really interesting. Shakur, for me, is a possible pound-for-pound number one at one time. But if there's a guy who could be a threat to him, it is Teo, because Teo has that little bit of difference-making ability. Is it a 60-40 fight? Is it still close? I mean, it's probably 60-40, maybe even higher, but that's a live 30 and 40 by Teofimo, because again, the way he shows up is very, very difficult and tricky.
Tony Harrison shared a candid perspective on the Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez bout, observing that while the final result might come down to the judges, one factor is clear: Stevenson's defense is elite, arguably even above Lopez's, a fact recognized by officials and referees alike. Harrison leans towards Stevenson, highlighting his superior ring IQ and near-perfect defensive skills as key factors that could ultimately decide the fight.
I think that's the hardest one to pick, depending on who the judges are. Because I think I'm going to go Shakur. I'm going to just go Shakur because I think defensively he's a little more sound. I think, I also think not only is he sound, I also think that a lot of the judges and referees give him credit for being defensively sound. You know, I think he's probably the only fighter in boxing that gets credit for being defensively sound. You know what I mean? So,
while Teofimo Lopez is often labeled as an aggressive fighter, Ryan Garcia offered a different perspective. He views Lopez more as a counterpuncher, pointing out that constant forward pressure doesn't fully define his style. Garcia believes that to overcome Shakur Stevenson, Lopez will need to make adjustments, since Stevenson is a sharp counterpuncher with exceptional boxing intelligence. This creates a strategic battle where both fighters must adapt, anticipate each other, and exploit openings to gain the upper hand.
Teofimo likes to fight people that he could counter, and with Shakur, he has to chase him. So it's not a good style matchup for Teofimo, but shit, if Teofimo finds a way, fucking kudos to him for sure. Like, because I don't see Teofimo being that aggressive, you know? He's aggressive.
Yeah, he's more like he throw his punches, not trying to hurt. He just trying to tag you.
Yeah, like he's not very aggressive. Like he's more of a natural counterpuncher, but not an aggressive fighter. Like he'll go get you if he has to.
But Shakur's the same way though, no?
Shakur's more of a counterpuncher, but he's gonna make sure that Teofimo chases him for sure, just by his boxing ability.
To everyone's surprise, Keyshawn Davis shared his different viewpoint as well. While recognizing everything Shakur Stevenson brings to the ring, he emphasized that Teofimo Lopez is highly unpredictable. It's impossible to know which version of him will show up on fight night. In Davis's opinion, this makes Stevenson's challenge his toughest yet, requiring meticulous preparation. When it comes to the outcome, Keyshawn is confident that no one, not even Teofimo Lopez, can defeat Shakur Stevenson.
Genuine respect for each other, honestly. And then it's just going to start picking it up from there. Like a Canelo Bud, I feel like they both started off on some, let me see what you got. And then they just started, you know what I'm saying, picking it up. They match up real well. Like shoulders, body, height. It looked like Shakur was a little taller than him too. So I know Shakur mentality. He's not worried about nobody being bigger than him, bro. Right. Or somebody hitting hard, bro. So that ain't going to mean nothing. Ain't nobody beating Shakur, bro. Ain't nobody beating me or Shakur, bro. Like, all jokes aside.
Been in there with both of them, right? I mean, do you see this as Shakur's toughest test to date, on paper at least?
On paper, yeah, hell yeah. Tio, what he said today that I agree with, you don't really know what to prepare for when you fight Tio. He's so awkward and unorthodox, and he do like weird shit. So you don't really know what to prepare for. So on paper, for sure, this is best.
And the analysis keeps coming. Frank Martin offered his take on the stylistic clash, labeling it as one of the toughest fights in Shakur Stevenson's career. He views it as a 50-50 contest, emphasizing that Teofimo Lopez has the skill set and attributes necessary to challenge Stevenson. Martin notes that Lopez's drive, determination, and talent make him a serious threat, cementing this matchup as one of the most compelling in recent memory.
Man, that fight right there, I think this is gonna be like I think this is gonna be Shakur like best opponent for him, style-wise and all of that. Just because I feel like they match him up perfect. You know, he a good fighter. You know, he a great boxer, but they match him up perfect. And I feel like Teofimo, he got a little bit of everything. You know, he got like good feet. He got speed, power. I don't know. I don't know how I see that fight. I don't know how I see that fight, man.
You think it's
gonna be different, you know? I don't see it being like we see what Shakur do when he fight a puncher.
On one hand, Teofimo Lopez is acknowledged as a highly talented fighter, yet Shakur Stevenson stands out just as much for his technical prowess, often regarded as one of the smartest boxers of his generation. Stevenson's past fights showcase his expertise, while Lopez has shown vulnerabilities against select opponents, a point Frank Martin emphasizes. He characterizes it as a bout that could go either way, with no clear favorite, making this stylistic showdown one of the most unpredictable and captivating fights to witness.
You know what I'm saying? When he fought De Los Santos, he stayed out of the way. You know, he ain't want to get hit. Man, it's a good fight.
But then we've also seen Tio struggle against boxers too, right? So that's what makes it interesting. To your point about De Los Santos and Shakur, and then on the other side, Tio, when he's Sandor Martin or guys giving him movement, he seems to struggle with that too. So
I think that's a good matchup. That fight can go either way. I ain't leaning like that fight can go to either one of them. They both hella skilled.
It's like respectfully 50-50, but then when you really start
that's how I feel.
You start to analyze it, you could go 60-40 either way, to be honest with you. It's a very close and really good competitive fight.
Two-division world champion Paulie Malignaggi offered his take on this high-profile clash. Speaking to the Schmo, he pointed out that while Stevenson is the clear favorite, fans shouldn't overlook Lopez. The takeover still carries the power, skill, and unpredictability to challenge the unbeaten American, making this matchup one of the most thrilling and must-watch fights in recent memory.
First look, at first glance, I mean, this is Shakur Stevenson written all over, right? This is Shakur's coming out party. This is where Shakur lives up to the expectation. But there is a tricky element to this fight as well, because Teofimo Lopez always saves his best performances for the moment when you write him off, for the moment when you're ready to say, okay, he's gone too far, now he's going to lose. And his two career wins where he's been an underdog, I think most people were picking him to lose the Taylor fight. But more so than that, the Lomachenko fight, really most people were looking for him to lose that Lomachenko fight. And I think he's probably the only guy to have beaten Lomachenko legitimately, you know? So you know, Teofimo has a way of being at his most dangerous.
Paulie Malignaggi believes Teofimo Lopez is the type of fighter who elevates his performance when underestimated, consistently outsmarting and outboxing his rivals. In his opinion, Lopez has the potential to rank among the best pound-for-pound fighters in the sport if matched with the right opponents to highlight his abilities. However, against Shakur Stevenson, Malignaggi sees a genuine challenge, a fighter capable of truly testing Lopez and making this matchup highly competitive and unpredictable.
Shakur is in his prime, and he's very, very good, and I think he's possibly, you know, the level of a fighter that could probably be the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the sport if he would just have the right opponents in front of him to beat, because he would beat them. But this is the one guy where it's really, really tricky. It's the one guy that could really offset that is Teofimo, on the right night, of course. Shakur, I think, is a more consistent, better fighter. But Teofimo at his best, sometimes looks almost unbeatable, you know? So that's the only thing that gives you some tricky feelings about it. You feel like Shakur is ready to do this, and this is the moment, but Teofimo tends to be that guy who's the most dangerous in these moments, so it's tricky.
And there you have it. The experts have spoken, predictions are in, and the hype for Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez continues to build. Whether it's Stevenson's elite technique or Lopez's raw power, one thing is clear. Fight night is going to be explosive, unpredictable, and absolutely unmissable. Drop a comment below. Who do you think takes the win? Stevenson's precision or Lopez's power? Let's get the debate started. Also, don't forget to share this video with your fight crew. The more opinions, the better the discussion.